All right. Hello and again and welcome back. So listen, put out a video the other day about a thing where Bojo Bantan do. Cause Bojo Bantan a Gwaan like same a idiot and like him is a medical this and that. And I was very forthright in my criticism of him, which I think was quite legitimate and quite called for, you see. And I made certain statements and one of my subscribers asked me, by the way, Mr. Jason Gray, thank you very much for the question. This response is a direct result of the questions you asked, and I'll go into it in a bit. But so this is March 20th, 2021, and Mr. Jason Gray, I'm going to get right into your question because I think it's legitimate. And your question went like this: since I am no kind of ologist, of course he's referring to what I said about Bojo Bantan. And let me tell you this, by the way, I am no kind of ologist either. I am just a person who, yeah, I'm kind of read and understand. You understand what I'm saying? So, anyway, since I am no kind of ologist either, how can you attest to the legitimacy of this vaccine? And how do we know when a placebo is used as opposed to the real thing? And why recovering patients still need a vaccine since they have already been exposed and have already built up antibodies? Why is the acronym COVID, COVID, applied before a vaccine was discovered? Now, Mr. Gray, honestly, I think those are legitimate questions. So let's get right into them. Firstly, a coronavirus is a common type of virus that can infect your nose, sinus, or upper throat. They can spread much like cold virus, and I got that directly from Wikipedia. Almost everyone can get a coronavirus infection at least once in their life, most likely as a young child. Most coronaviruses are not dangerous, but some are. Those that cause Middle Eastern respiratory syndrome, that's the MERS, or severe acute respiratory syndrome, that is the SARS. You remember that big one that nearly killed a whole lot of people in Toronto back in the day. So you asked the question, so why was COVID applied before vaccine was discovered? Well, I am not quite sure where you're going with that because the term COVID was already known. Acronym is for coronavirus, COVID, so coronavirus disease. So that is what it stands for. Coronavirus is not new. Coronavirus is the same virus that give you cold and flu and affect your throat when you get sick, when you get sore throat. That's a coronavirus. Coronavirus is also known to reside in the bat population in most countries, especially in the eastern part of the world, places like China, Vietnam, Thailand, and all those places where they have massive bat population and various types of bat population. So yeah, so the coronavirus is nothing new. All right. Now the other question you asked was, how do you know when a placebo is used? And hear this now. Look, doctors do not give you placebo. So let's just understand that placebo is not a thing that when you go to your doctor and you say, I am sick, him joke you with a thing, but really and truly, it's not really medication. That doesn't happen. I mean, I know a lot of people don't trust doctors for reasons which I sometimes I understand, especially in Jamaica, but let's get it straight. Doctors do not give you placebo. Placebos are used in clinical trial. A clinical trial is when a new drug is coming out or a drug that has been out there is being tried on something new. So when you go in for a clinical trial, it is usually something that you volunteer for. You know what is being done. The difference is that when you are aware that you might be given a placebo because it is a clinical trial. So the people who are conducting the clinical trials, they know who they gave the placebo to and who they didn't give it to, and they use that as their control. So John Tom get the placebo, and Jane got the real thing, and boy, none of them seem to be getting sick. Therefore, we can say X, Y, or Z and draw whatever conclusion. That is how placebos work. As I said, when you go to your doctor never gives you a placebo. He gives you a medication. The medication might work or the medication might not work, but it will be medication. So that is how you know. All right. So let's going on down here now. And you ask the next question, and I think that one is also a legitimate question because honestly, it is something that I thought about too. And many people have been asking it, and it has become a bone of contention in both North America, and by North America I mean Canada and the United States, and it is becoming a bone of contention in Jamaica too. And the question is this: why do recovering patients need vaccinations after they have got the virus? And the simple answer is this: look, you don't know the other strain of virus that you might be exposed to, and because you have gotten the virus doesn't mean that you are now protected from the next strain of virus that comes along, because the virus mutates. And as we have seen and has been proven, some of the mutations will ensure that somebody who has gotten the virus before has no protection, because the mutation is so much greater than what the original virus was. Therefore, the original virus does not, having gotten the original virus, does not protect you from the new strain. So you still need to wear a mask until we have achieved herd immunity. But anyway, you do need to wear a mask because you do not know what other strain you might be exposed to. That is one. So you may have gotten one strain, and then why after you go to the hospital and you got that intubation thing, you know, that big tube that you always see and all those medical shows with them shoved down your throat, yeah, and the big mask over your face and you can't breathe and all of that sort of thing. No, don't tell me you want to go back through that again. No, it's kind of hard. Honestly, you wouldn't really want to do that again. So you still want to wear a mask. Now, here is the other problem too. If you are able to get the new strain, it is also possible that you could also pass that new strain on to somebody else. So you may become patient zero again, even though you already got the virus. So that is the reason you want to wear a mask. Now, finally, as the legitimacy of the vaccine, let's get this straight. A lot of people think that this is something new, and it's not. This technology is something that has been in the research stages for somewhere around the last 50 years. Universities in Canada have been researching this for a long time. Now, let me just go over to a little page here that I just found a while ago. Currently, there are three main types of COVID-19 vaccines that are authorized and recommended, or undergoing large-scale trial. And by that, they mean phase 3. And when they say phase 3, that is almost the last stage. Generally speaking, that is the last phase before they do massive population trials. We have kind of jumped past because of the severity of the problems we're having right now, they kind of jumped through the last stage and started just approving the vaccine before they go to that stage. But anyway, COVID-19 vaccines that are authorized and recommended are undergoing large-scale clinical trials in the United States. Below is a description of how each type of vaccine prompts our body to recognize and protect us from the virus that causes COVID-19. So, before anybody say anything, none of these vaccines can give you COVID-19. You can't catch it. Anyway, the most basic one, and the one that everybody seems to be afraid of right now because it's supposedly new technology and they don't understand it, is the one that is called mRNA, and that is messenger RNA. That is messenger ribonucleic acid vaccine. And this contains material from the virus that causes COVID-19 that gives our cells instructions on how to make a harmless protein that is unique to the virus. After our cells make copy of that protein, they destroy the genetic material from the vaccine. So the vaccine just tells the cell what to do, and then as our body normally does, it destroys that. So all the people who are saying that, boy, it is going to reprogram me, and the next thing you know, we have 3 different arms, 4 different legs, and we start to have scales, that is just not going to happen. Our bodies recognize that the protein should not be there, and then it builds what is called a T lymphocyte and B lymphocytes that will remember how to fight the virus that cause COVID-19 if we are infected in the future. So in other words, it just come in and it just said to you, look, this is what I want you to look for in the future. You know, like in Mission Impossible, where it said tung 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 tung, and it come in and it say this message will destruct in 6 seconds or 5 seconds. This is what this mRNA vaccine does. It comes in, it tells you what to do, you take the instructions, and then the messenger disappear, so you don't have to worry about it. Okay, so that is how it works. So your body will now remember how to fight the virus that causes COVID-19 if you are infected in the future. Now there is another vaccine called protein subunit, and what this one does, it includes a harmless piece of the protein of the virus instead of the entire germ. Once vaccinated, our body does the same thing that the mRNA does, except that you didn't put the mRNA in it, you use a little piece of the virus. So our body recognizes that the protein should not be there, and again it builds up the T lymphocytes and the B lymphocytes, and your body will remember how to fight your body will now remember how to fight the virus that cause COVID if you are infected in the future, because it has seen a little bit of the original virus. So they take a piece out of the original virus that is harmless, and your body look at it and say, oh, so that thing they're not supposed to be there, not supposed to there. And so it says, all right, I'm gonna just build up my army, tell my boys how to recognize this. So in the future, anytime we see it, we just draw for the AK and start deal with it. So I say, all right. Now you have the vector vaccine after that, and that is the third and last one. Now, and that contains a modified version of a different virus other than the one that causes COVID-19. They take a bit from the COVID-19 vaccine, they insert it into the harmless virus. And so and this is called a viral vector. So once the viral vector is inside our cells, the genetic material gives the cells the instructions. So essentially, it's almost the same thing like the mRNA, but not quite. So it's slightly different, but it works in essentially the same way. So using these instructions now, our cells make copies of the protein. Once the viral vector is inside our cells, the genetic material gives the cells instructions to make a protein that is unique to the virus that caused COVID-19. So there's this one protein and only COVID-19 has it, and so the body knows if you ever see this protein, that means that there's COVID-19 around. Again, draw for the AK and start deal with the case. You understand? That is how the body is going to work. So using these instructions, our cells then make copies of that protein, and this prompts our body to build our T lymphocytes and B lymphocytes that will now remember how to fight the virus if we are infected in the future. So you see it, draw for the AK and start deal with it. Yeah man, grab the Draco and murder them. You see me? Alright, so that is the basic idea of how vaccines work. So there are three types. There are various hybrids of all of these three types that other companies are working on, but those are the three that are up and running right now. So look, nobody needs to be concerned about this as far as my information is telling. So it is always good when people ask questions. What is bad in my opinion is when a whole bunch of idiots come on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and start giving ignorant opinions and start telling people about this and that, and nobody takes the time to do the research and to look at the thing and to understand it, and everybody just like the blind leading the blind. Yeah, well, hear me now, man, me have two eyes, I'm gonna deal with that. Again, some of the vaccines need 2 doses and some need 1, but that's neither here nor there. The veracity of the vaccine has been recognized, and its efficacy has been recognized to be somewhere around between 95 and 98%. Which, again, thanks Jason, Mr. Gray. Thank you very much for asking the questions. And oh yeah, one more thing. Look, a lot of people have been given the vaccine already, and honestly, there have only been a few side effects. I mean, so many that every time that one happens, it makes the news. And of course, it's just the media hyping up things because, the media always needs something to say. So, on that note, I wouldn't even bother worry about it, because any other vaccine, normally you have thousands upon thousands of side effects. So anyway, listen, this is just saying my piece. So, what? Could you hear me?